All right, welcome back to Ugly Truck. There's two things that Ripley loves. One of them is Frisbees, and the other one is taking rides in trucks. And it's about 100 degrees here right now. We just got ourselves a new pickup, and it doesn't have air conditioning, so we're going to try and fix that. Is that okay? Yeah.
Oh boy.
So she's good with that. So we think the AC will work in this pickup. Everything's there, so we're going to give it a shot to try and retrofit it over. So
awesome.
That's what we'll do. All right, so like I said, we got ourselves a new pickup last week, and this is a 1974 Chevy C20. It has a 350 cubic inch small block Chevy in it. It runs and drives great. I didn't expect that when we bought it. We kind of bought it sight unseen. We'll tell you that story as we go on. But everything for the air conditioning is still here and intact. The only thing that wasn't there was the belt, and I just put a belt on it, and I chucked power to the compressor to see if everything was okay electrically to it, and it is. So it doesn't have any refrigerant in it, but when I opened up the Schrader valve and I pushed on the little valve, there was a little hiss. Okay, so there's some pressure in there. So from 1974 to what is today? 2022?
Yeah.
How many years is that?
A lot.
Well, I was born in 69. It wasn't a lot, right?
Sorry.
Huh, I see. Okay, so yeah, it was a lot. It's a lot of years. But, so what that tells me is that it is holding some pressure, okay? So there's a really good chance that I'll put retrofit fittings on this and then put some PAG oil in it and fill it up with R134. And it may work, and that's what we're going to try to do. I don't want to spend a lot of money on this air conditioning system, but it would be nice if it works. And I think with the cost of Freon right now, if we fill this thing up and it has air conditioning, that means we got AC in it for less than $100.
Yeah.
Okay? Which is pretty good, especially when we don't have a vehicle that has air conditioning.
Yeah.
I'm tired of sweating profusely when I'm driving down the road.
Yeah.
But
nice,
we'll see.
Nice wet drive.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, yeah. The windows do roll down, though. Most of our trucks, the windows don't even roll down in either.
Yeah.
This is like a Cadillac compared to most of the things we own.
Yeah, really. It's sweet. Yep.
I went to O'Reilly's this morning, and I rented all the stuff that I would need to do this job. Okay? I rented a vacuum pump, and I rented a gauge set. And I own all these things, but I'm just trying to just show a person that they can go and rent this stuff, return it, get your money back, and it doesn't cost you anything to do that. Give it a shot.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Because we have an AC machine that, it evacuates the system, and I can walk away from it, push some buttons on it, it'll charge the system, do all the things it's supposed to do without, really having to do that. But the average person, you can't do that. So I just wanted to kind of prove that you can go do it and it doesn't cost all that much.
Yeah.
Okay. Technically, you wouldn't even need a gauge set, but I think it's a good idea. And if you can look at the pressures that are running on it, we'll talk about that once we get it fired up. But if you can look at the pressures on it, you're going to at least learn something from it,
Yeah.
instead of just filling it full of however many pounds and looking at the low side. That's what those cans do that you buy at the parts stores and that. They just have a little gauge on it that shows you the low side. And it's the high side is the problem most of the time. So
yeah.
But we'll be able to look at it on this one and see how it goes. So
sweet.
So we'll do this whole job, and then I'll return these tools, and hopefully we'll have air conditioning.
Yeah.
So, oh, and I also bought a retrofit kit. Okay.
Sweet.
I bought a bottle of PAG 46. It's synthetic refrigerant oil. This has got dye in it. Even the refrigerant I buy now, I buy it with dye in it. But so when it does leak, you can buy a cheap little $15 UV light and see where it's leaking. And that's it. That's all you'll need to do this thing.
Awesome.
Okay? Okay. All right. So this thing, it's got a giant frigid air compressor on it. This compressor, I think it weighs just as much as the 350 small block Chevy.
Yeah.
They're huge. They do make a replacement for this. It's a aluminum one. It's $400 and some. So
Yikes.
we're going to see if this one works. Okay. When the day comes that if we have to replace it or whatever, we'll be forced to buy something different probably, unless we want to replace it with this. But because you can still buy these, they're expensive too. But the aluminum one, which would be really nice, and they're much more efficient. It costs so much, but
yeah.
But these things work great. Okay.
Yeah. Everybody says like the old school compressors are so much better than what you get today. You know.
Right, for being tough, but for being efficient, not so much. Because when this thing kicks on, you feel it.
Yeah.
You know, it really is doing something. So. What we're going to do, like I said, I don't know how this AC is going to work, so we're going to do it as cheaply as possible, and we'll see if it works. And then if it doesn't work, then I'll worry about that. But we're going to start by putting a retrofit fitting on the low side, which is on the receiver dryer on this truck, or accumulator, sorry. I'll say receiver dryer 100 times because that's what I'm used to. Yeah. Like on older cars, but it's an accumulator. We'll put a different retrofit fitting on this. This is the high side down here, okay? Right before it goes into the evaporator core. Inside this tube right here, there's a part called the Orifice Tube. It's a little black thing, and it's the thing that makes the pressure change from high to low, okay?
Cool.
All right, so this is an adapter. I bought a whole kit that covers all these older vehicles. It was $16 this morning, and this one goes on the high side, okay, down here. You just leave the Schrader valve in the old fitting, okay? You don't have to take the Schrader valve out of them or anything. And they have some sealant on them. So you don't want to put them on and take them off and put them on and take them off. Put it on and leave it on. This is the one for the low side fitting. And I'm going to show you a little bit about evacuating the system here in a second. But so I'm going to hold off on putting that on the low side for now. Okay?
Cool.
All right. So, like I said, you hear that?
Ooh.
Okay. So it has just a tiny bit of something in it still, which it doesn't have fittings on it, so I know it's probably R12, which isn't the greatest thing to do. If you have a full system, you need to take it someplace and have it evacuated, you know, so you don't ruin the planet.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
That whole planet
just
thing.
by doing that,
Uh-huh.
I just opened up the ozone layer 40 feet.
Well, that's why it's so hot.
I know.
Stop.
Sorry.
Quit. Stop.
No.
I'm sweaty.
Well, when they let off a rocket,
Uh-huh.
I think it's like the equivalent of so many tons of R12. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's no R12 really in there. But there is pressure in there. It's not cold anymore, so
Yeah.
it's fine. But that tells me that this system will hold some pressure. So that's what we're gonna see. Okay? We got the high side fitting on, okay?
Okay.
And these fittings, you gotta, it's a quick connector, okay? You put the quick connector over it, and then you screw it in to open up the Schrader valve, okay?
Cool.
And then, like on this one, that would be the pressure that's inside the system, but it's zero. There's nothing in there, okay? So now there's absolutely nothing in there. We'll let that go. But we've got a vacuum pump here hooked up that we rented. Okay, so a vacuum pump, you go and you rent one of these. Make sure it's got oil at its oil level. All right, this one, it's been sitting in a box for a while that was probably laying on its side. So I had to add some vacuum pump oil, okay?
Cool.
Which I have around here because we have our own vacuum pump. And occasionally we have to add oil to it.
Yeah.
So, but pay attention to that because it did a leak in the box. So what we're gonna do is evacuate the system.
Evacuate.
Exactly. Yes, evacuate. And by evacuate, should I do the demonstration of what evacuating is?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. All right, so let's close the valves. So, all right, so this is hooked to our vacuum pump. Nothing is, I got both these valves closed, so nothing is gonna go through these hoses then, okay? I'm gonna undo the low side hose. The blue is the low side.
Okay.
Okay. Red's high side, which red, danger,
Yeah.
blue, you know the story.
Yeah.
So a vacuum pump, it's going to pull down about 30 inches of vacuum.
Okay.
Okay. And when you say you evacuate a air conditioning system, everything around us, all the air we breathe and everything, it's got water in it. Okay?
Yeah.
Moisture. So when you have an AC system open, it is going to have water in the system.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
So when you evacuate a system, basically we're trying to draw the water out of it.
Okay.
Okay? And the way we're going to do it is by putting a vacuum on it. And so I'm going to turn the vacuum pump on. I have this little fitting, and this is full of water here in the bottom. Okay?
Okay.
And I'll show you what it does when you put some vacuum on it. If you had a good science teacher when you were in school, he would have showed you this.
Yeah.
Okay? But most people don't. Right?
No.
Does that noise bother you?
It's scary. I'm nervous.
It's all right. All right. Okay. Okay. So now I got the low side gauge open. And that vacuum pump, it pulled it down to about 30 inches of vacuum. Okay?
Okay.
So up to this point then, it's got 30 inches of vacuum going on in it. And I'm going to apply some vacuum to my jar of water. Pretty good. Yes. Anything happening yet?
I don't think so.
There's a lot of air in that jar, so.
Yeah. So there, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but there's little tiny bubbles right around the bottom edge of the jar. And if we look at the jar, you can tell our water level has dropped. And that's the water's turning into a vapor and getting sucked out of there.
Right. Yep. So if I let it just go on that for another 30 minutes or so, all that moisture would be gone, okay? If you put more vacuum on it, it would actually look like it was boiling, but 30 pounds or 30 inches of vacuum, which is what these things put out, that's all it takes to evacuate the moisture out of the air conditioning system. And hopefully there's not that much water in the air conditioning system.
Yeah.
If there is, you're in big trouble.
Yeah, you got problems.
It's going to be a problem. But that's just a demonstration of what has happened. It's just changing the water from a liquid to gas. and it pulls it out of the system to get rid of it. Okay.
Cool.
So by plugging this into the high or low side and the high side of the air conditioning system, we're going to be doing the same thing. So I'm going to turn it on. Go ahead and open this valve. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put this low side retrofit fitting on. Like I said, just leave the Schrader valve on the old one. Okay. Put it over it. Okay. And open up the hose, and then reach up and open up the gauge there too. Just turn the gauge on the low side.
Turn it
All the way open.
all the way left.
Yep.
Okay. That's all the way.
Yep. Okay. So, alright, so right now, the air conditioning system on this truck, it's just about to pull it down to a 30-inch vacuum. And I'm going to let it do that for 15 minutes on this one. Okay?
Okay.
I'm not worried about having too much moisture inside of it because it was still holding pressure in it.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go for 15 minutes with a vacuum on it. Then we'll put some oil in it and charge it up. We'll see if it works.
Sweet.
Okay. All right, so this thing's been evacuating for 15, 20 minutes now, right?
Yep.
Pulling 30 inches of vacuum down on the whole system, all right?
Okay.
So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna close the valves and I'm going to shut the vacuum pump off. Right? Cool. So we're done with that. So we can return this back to O'Reilly's, get all of our money back, so that didn't cost us anything.
Yeah.
All right, so R134, you can't buy R12 anymore, so we're going to have to fill this system with R134. It takes a different oil. It takes PAG oil, which is a synthetic whatever, right?
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, synthetic oil. Everything's synthetic these days.
What's this world coming to?
Yeah, exactly.
Can't
Okay.
get conventional oil anymore.
Yeah. So I think R12 had mineral oil in it. Okay.
Sounds right.
It does not mix very well with R134. So I'm going to add 1 ounce of PAG 46 oil.
Okay.
Okay. It still has all of its mineral oil, okay, that the thing came with for R12.
Yeah.
If you put too much oil in, it just saturates the system with oil, and it does not work very well. So
Yeah.
remember, we're just trying to do this to get by,
Yeah.
okay? We're not spending a fortune on it. So I'm going to put my line in there. This thing has got a vacuum on it right now.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to open up this port right here. Okay, I'm going to open it up, and it is going to suck out 1 ounce. I'm going to shut it off at 1 ounce. All right, so it's going to end up going into the system. You ready?
Okay.
Okay, watch. Here we go. Okay.
Sweet.
It does it fast, so you gotta
Yeah.
you gotta be ready to shut that thing off. I'd love to put more oil in it, but quite frankly, it won't work very well if you do. Just doing a cheap retrofit like this.
Yeah.
PAG oil, it is like brake fluid. It sucks in moisture like crazy, so keep it sealed up.
It's hydroscopic.
Hydroscopic, that's right.
I know words.
I know, you know words. Words.
Legs.
Okay. So one ounce of PAG 46 has been added to this lime. I'm gonna close this again.
Okay.
Okay. Or it is closed, right?
Yep.
Okay. So I know that like everybody doesn't have a 30-pound bottle of refrigerant, but I do this all the time. You have to have a certification to buy a 30-pound bottle, and you also have to have a machine that reclaims refrigerant to buy a 30-pound bottle.
Yeah.
But now we're just going to add refrigerant to it, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm going to do it. I'm going to use a scale on this one. My machine does it for me. It's got its own scale on it. But if you don't have this ability, you go and you buy the little bottles, okay? A pound, 16 ounces. Those little bottles are like 12 ounce bottles or whatever. Mm-hmm. So you have to do some math, figure out how many little cans you need. The cost of this stuff has gone up so much that I'm going to use my 30-pound bottle just because I don't want to go spend another, how much was that thing? That bottle was $500.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can imagine what the little cans cost.
The price has gone crazy.
Too. Right, but even so, like this system's only going to hold 3 pounds, so that's less than $100 worth of R134 in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm using this because I'm cheap and I don't want to go buy little cans. Okay. Yeah. But you could do it with little cans. All right. So. R134 and versus R12, which is what this truck came with. In the early 90s, everything switched over to R134. I used to do like 2 or 3 of these a day. Jeez. Believe it or not.
Yeah.
This isn't the ideal way to do it, but this is the cheap way to do it. If we were doing it the best way to do it, we would take the compressor off. We would drain all the oil out of it. We would clean all the lines out. We would refill it back full of probably somewhere between 6 and 8 ounces of PAG oil to mix with the R134, and then fill it up with 80% volume, okay? So this system with R12, it took 3.75 pounds of R12, right?
Yep.
Okay, well, R134, it takes a different volume. 80% of whatever the R12 was, and that's how we would do it. We'd say, okay, 3.75, we're going to put 3 pounds in it. That's 80% of it.
Yeah.
Okay? And if you're lucky, there's tags all over the place that say how many pounds the original system held.
Yeah.
We're just trying to see if we can get this thing to go so we can take the dogs out for a drive, you know?
Yeah.
So we got it hooked up to our bottle here. Both these are closed, okay? I'm gonna open up my refrigerant tank, and I am using a scale. It's sitting on a scale, okay? I'm gonna zero it out, right? And I don't think you can rent these scales, but like if you were doing it with the little bottles, if it says it's a 12 ounce can, that's a measurement of weight. So 16 ounces is a pound. So you'd need however many of those little bottles to fill up your 3 pound system.
Yeah.
Okay. Fortunately for me, it's pretty simple math.
Yeah.
Pounds and ounces.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I've got this tank open. There's probably still some oil in this line that hasn't made it there yet. I can see it in the little sight glass actually. See how it's kind of green?
Huh.
Okay. So now we're going to fill the system and we're going to put 3 pounds in it.
Okay.
Not 3.75.
Yeah.
And we're going to add it to the low side on the system because in the event that this won't transfer over because refrigerant, it moves because of pressure differentials because of what temperature they are.
Oh, okay.
Okay. We might have to heat the bottle up, but it's already 100 degrees here, so
yeah,
I don't want to do that. So we're going to open this valve up and we'll see how fast it transfers. And you always want to transfer it over on the low side, the blue side.
Okay.
Okay? Because if you have to add refrigerant to it, the high side is going to run at almost 200 pounds. And it's not, 200 pounds is not going to come out of a bottle.
Yeah.
It only gets entered through the low side. So here I go. I'm going to add refrigerant now. And then we're going to watch our scale. And when it hits 3 pounds, I'm going to shut it down. Where are we at now?
1 pound, 1.2, 1.4.
Two point what?
1.8, 3.0. There you go.
Okay.
Oh, 3.2.
All right. So 3.2. That'll be fine because you got some in your lines too. That whole line's full of refrigerant. All right. But we transferred 3.2 pounds out of that bottle into this thing.
Cool.
Okay. I don't know. What should we do next?
Are we ready to take the hoses off and
No.
go for a drive?
No.
Oh.
Let's start it
Oh, okay.
and see how it goes.
Okay.
So, both valves, make sure they're closed, okay? Because you're going to get whatever, when that compressor fires up, we're going to bump up about 100 pounds above whatever ambient temperature is. So it should be somewhere around 200 pounds. And if we're lucky and the system's fairly decent, maybe it'll go between 30 and 40 pounds. And then also, when we turn that AC on, we're not going to just turn it on. We're going to turn it on, shut it off, let it sit a bit, turn it on again, and let that R134 mix with that PAG oil
Yeah.
a little bit. And because right now all that PAG oil is probably just sitting in the bottom of the accumulator.
Mm.
And you want a little bit of movement in there, and that way it gets to the compressor slowly without burning it up. So right now, this is the point where it's either going to work or it's not going to work. So if all goes well, our pressures will look good. So why don't I start it and I'll cycle it
Okay.
the way I like to do it.
Okay.
I'll go on and off a little bit, and then you can watch your gauges and tell me if something goes crazy.
Okay.
Good luck.
Better run.
Side's down to 0, so a little bit sucky. So I'm gonna try to give it a little bit more refrigerant. Okay. See what happens. The high side's climbing a little bit. What's that reading now? 150. side up. We can get the high side up to around 200. Then our suction side's coming up. Quarter row closed. Oh no, like now. I have this thing set on out. Okay. So that's a problem. Alright, so we didn't have enough refrigerant in it. So we're going to do it old school. We're going to let it run until we get about 100 pounds up above whatever our ambient temperature is, which is 100 degrees here in the shop. So we'll let it climb up to about 180, 190. So right now it's sucking in all of 34, and our low side pressure is coming up a little bit. Ventilator's getting frosted. With evaporator.
Ooh. It's getting there. It's getting there.
Pretty cool.
Getting a little cool.
Low side's about 25 pounds, which we don't really want it that low. Sounds good though. The pressure's not loud. Okay. So there's 30 pounds, or almost 30 pounds on the low side. Okay. Feels good.
Ooh, that is pretty sweet.
Yep.
Nice.
Really cold on this side.
Ooh, that's my side.
Okay, so the AC works. When we did it, I told Emily, I said, set the scale up.
Oh.
Make sure that it reads in pounds and not ounces and kilograms.
Right.
And set it up so we can watch it. She screwed it up.
I did not.
And I was watching ounces instead of pounds.
No.
So we ended up doing it old school, watching the gauges and watching our pressures as it fills up. But it does work nice now.
Yeah.
Which is great. Who knows? Who knows how long it's going to work?
Yeah.
Okay. The Schrader valve's leaking, so very important to put a cap on the valves. Okay. This one's leaking too. All right.
Okay.
So I don't know why it's leaking that much. It really shouldn't. But we'll cap that off. We have air conditioning in this thing for less than $100.
Yay.
Right? So that's pretty sweet.
Yeah. When it's been over 100 degrees every day for at least a week.
Yep.
Worth it.
Right. Then we'll return the gauges and the vacuum pump, and we're good.
Yeah.
But who knows? We may come out here tomorrow and it might not work at all. But
Yeah.
if it's leaked out, but I don't think it will. I think it'll still work. Let's take it for a drive and test it out.
Ripley, you want to go for a ride?
We'll go for a ride in the truck.
You gonna go? Yeah. Oh my goodness. You ready? Just you ready? Can you make it?
getting in, right? Oh, if it gets too cold in here or something, you need me to shut it down, let me know. Okay?
Oh, okay.
Ripley's already figuring out where the cold vent is.
Yeah.
Oh, that is sweet.
Oh, man.
Like that? Huh? Is that better? Not too bad for less than $100.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't blow all that well.
Yeah.
But it's got some mouse blockages in front of the
Yeah.
evaporator core.
There's been some mice in there somewhere. As much stuff is blown out of there now.
Yeah. So, probably have to take that out, clean it all out.
What do you think, Ripley? Pretty sweet?
I like it.
Yeah. Juice likes it.
All right. Well, Ripley's happy. That's all that matters,
That's true.
right? We have AC back in this truck for very little money. We didn't spend anything on it because really there's no sense to spend a lot on it when you don't know what you're getting into. So,
Yeah.
but we managed to get AC going in it for less than $100, which is cool.
Yep.
The blower doesn't blow very strong, and then when I turned it on initially when we first got the thing, like little pieces of paper from mice and that
Yeah.
come out of the thing. So
Mouse confetti.
yeah, mouse
Yeah.
confetti.
It was a little mouse party for a second.
They do party.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're probably going to have to take the interior box down out of it and clean that out,
Yeah.
and then everything. It seems like everything will be great, but that doesn't mean that we might jump in it tomorrow and it may have leaked all of its refrigerant out or anything.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to. I think it's going to be fine. And if we just had to add refrigerant to it, like once a year or once every 2 years,
Yeah.
hey,
That'd be sweet.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, we met Chad from Squarebody stuff. He's got a great YouTube channel.
Yeah. So if you love these square body trucks, he has a ton of info, a ton of great content. You should definitely go check it out.
And he's entertaining.
Yes.
We really like him.
Yeah.
And he's inspired us to, we're going to sell the yellow truck.
No.
He's inspired us to get rid of all of our LS swap stuff. And so
Yeah.
we're going small block Chevy only.
Yeah.
First generation.
Uh-huh.
We might pull the 350 out of this and put a 283 in it.
That'd be all right.
I don't think that'd work very good in a 3/4 ton. But,
No, it wouldn't be.
I offered to buy this truck almost a year ago, and the guy who owned it called us this week and said, "Hey, I'm going to drop that truck off. It's yours, you know."
Yeah.
And we paid him for it, and
We've got a lot of plans for this truck, a lot of cool stuff we want to do to it. And first and foremost, no, we're not going to LS swap it. So whether you're happy about that or sad about that, whatever.
yeah, we do LS swaps, but we love small block Chevys, all of them.
Slant six.
Oh yeah,
You know,
yeah. Anything
Ford straight six.
Yeah.
I mean,
if it has a spark plug in it, we love it.
we love it.
But I think this truck we're gonna improve on it.
Yeah.
We're just gonna keep what it's got in it because it's got a great running engine.
Yeah.
We maybe we'll do something different with the transmission. It has a 350 transmission, so maybe we'll do something different. Give it an overdrive or something.
Yeah.
So we can drive it down the road comfortably. But we just want to turn this thing into a super cool farm truck.
Yeah, like the ultimate farm truck. You know, it runs good, drives good, does everything you need it to do. You're ready for whatever you might run into, you know. So
Right.
if you guys have some suggestions of stuff that you would like to see or that you think would be a good idea for that, be sure to let us know in the comments.
And it's going to be carbureted too.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put fuel injection on it, which
Yeah.
I love to do that stuff, but I'm not. I'm gonna put a different carburetor on it. Get rid of. I like the quadrajet that's on it. It's just kind of worn out. So
Yeah.
just things like that. We're just gonna make this thing better than it was in 1974. But we're not gonna change the truck. And I can't wait to wash it and see what it looks like.
Yeah, it looks worse than it is. It has a layer of like crusty.
Yeah. There's color under there.
Yeah, there's real paint on this. There's some rough spots around the wheel wells and a couple little dings here and there, but it's a really nice original truck. The interior's really nice and, you know, mostly original. So we're going to keep this thing as 1974 Chevy as we can, but just make it really, really sweet. Make it something that you want to jump in and drive every day.
Right, and it's orange and white.
Yeah.
Which is my high school colors, which, if you can believe it or not, I graduated high school. Barely. I don't know.
It was meant to be.
Yeah.
It was meant to be.
MTB.
MTB. So if you want to see more of this truck and follow this project, make sure you hit the subscribe button. It really helps us out. We appreciate everyone who's taken the time to leave us comments and supported us. It really means a lot, and we will catch you guys next time.
Yep. Did you hear okay?
It's great.
I like it. It's cute.
Yeah, it's 100 degrees today. You
Yeah.
can tell by my hair.
Well, look at mine.
I know.
Huh?
This
Oh.
is not fair.
That's a bad hair day for me, that's for sure.